In this 10 minutes Instana demo, I will focus on the value propositions, high-level architecture and process, the user experience through a real-life use case demo. Content. Two parts included in this demo. The first part is the slides. Instana for monitoring the distributed systems, include the value proposition, high-level architecture and process, and demo use case. Second part is demo itself, shows how Instana helps quickly identify and resolve an incident. The demo includes two parts: virtualized distributed applications from vertical and horizontal dimensions, and this includes visualizing the overall enterprise landscape. Second, the use case demo itself identify and resolve an incident with just a few clicks without in-depth technology skills. Okay, first, the value propositions. Instana has three value propositions: automation, context, and intelligent actions. Automation means Instana automate every step in the pipeline of the enterprise monitoring, including the data collection, monitoring, dashboard, knowledge, anomaly detections. Second, the context. Context is very important for the modern distributed systems. The distributed system is composed by the microservice. Microservice is typically hosted by the different infrastructures. It could be in anywhere, it could be on Azure, AWS, Google, or on-prem, IBM Cloud, any infrastructure. However, from the application perspective, we need to bring the relevant distributed systems, the microservice together under the same context of the application. Instana will do all these things automatically with the minimum effort from the human intervention perspective. This includes the dynamic graph, analytics, streaming processing, application perspective, alert correlation, and so forth. With the automation and the context, these two value propositions, we can realize the intelligent actions, which including the automatically generate the smart alert whenever issue happens, and actionable informations to guide the administrator to look into the problems. So in conclusion, automation, context, and intelligent actions are three key value propositions of the Instana. In the next two slides, I'm going to go through two architecture diagrams and to support these value propositions. The first diagram is Instana, and the left side is the target system, in the middle is Instana, and the right side is the dashboard of the Instana. In the system, it's a very typical full stack system from the hardware platform application to the front end. And Instana is designed just to reflect this setup, starting from the infrastructure and with the platform above the infrastructure, for example, the Kubernetes, and applications is deployed on the Kubernetes platform, and front end is deployed above the applications. So Instana really can virtualize all the aspects from all these infrastructure platform applications. We will go through the demo on these. Now the question is, we have the full stack the view of the application. Is that sufficient? It is not sufficient for the modern distributed systems because microservice is very complicated. It is hosted with the different host, but we need to bring them together under the same context. Instana will bring everything together in real time and under the one context to reflecting the certain applications. For example, This is a typical e-commerce website. And an e-commerce website is web service. And then it will connect to the microservice, shipping, user, discount, catalog, cart, rating, payment, and then further interact to the data or the middleware, for example, the message queues. So all these put together in the same context and to understand the application and understand to help to research the issues of the applications. Okay, now we understand the value proposition of the Instana is the automation, context, and the intelligent actions. Now we spend 1 minute to introduce the use case we are going to demonstrate. The use case is very straightforward. It's an e-commerce website, robot shop. The people are shopping the robot, just exactly the same user experience like Amazon. However, there is a problem being identified. Administrator got an email alert from the Instana that there has been a sudden increase of the erroneous clause on our discount service, which is part of the robot shop application. Instana can resolve these problems very easily. First, Instana proactively sending the email to the administrator before any customer complaint. Instana is the first persona to understand the problem and send the alert. Second, the administrator can use the Instana to understand the insights of the system to research the problem very quickly with a few clicks. That's a demo about. Without any delay, we go to the Instana environment. This is Instana, and the left side is the menu. As we can see, the menu is consistent with we described in the architecture, full stack, infrastructure, platform, application, and web and mobile, which is front end. And with these four menu, we can understand the full aspect of the enterprise from the hardware to the platform to the application perspective. For example, if we want to click the infrastructure, Instana show us everything about the enterprise. In the square, this is a data center. And inside the cubic is the host in the data center. For example, this data center is about like 40 hosts. If we want to understand and look into the information of the host, we just need to highlight and click it and open the dashboard. We will see all the aspect and parameters of this host in live. And if we click that, it could give us the live data. And then we can understand what is upstream and the downstream, the full stack of this context of this infrastructure. With the similar way, we can understand the platforms. For example, most popular one is a Kubernetes platform, so we understand the nodes and understand the ports to deploy it on the platform. And we understand the different applications. We can see there are many applications. One of the applications we're interested in is the robot shop. We just described in your use case. We click and then get the dashboard. Immediately, we can see the key informations of the matrix of the application. For example, the cause and erroneous and the latencies, we can see the erroneous cause is getting surged in a certain time. Of course, it's pre-designed for the demo purpose. And also, meanwhile, the latency getting very high. Obviously, 2 seconds latency, 2000 milliseconds latency, that is a timeout. Now we go back to demo question. We receive an email, and then the first step is we go to the event tag, and we see if we have any relevant event here. We can see the event for the discount and the sudden increase of the number of the erroneous calls. All we need to do is we do not need to care about what kind of system the microservice running. We just click it and get to the dashboard of the event and look into what was going on of the event. Here is a triggering event. What exactly the error or the issue to trigger the event? We just open the triggering event. Immediately, we can see the problem. The problem is the erroneous cause rate is getting higher in a certain time, and after maybe 5 minutes, it's getting resolved. Why it's resolved? Because it's a setup demo. In the real life, it's not resolved until administrator research the problem, maybe create a ticket on the ServiceNow and get the instance restarted and fixed. So what's the problem, right? All we need to do is just to click the Analyze Course button, and then it will bring us to the menu of the analytics. In the analytics, we were tracing the APIs one by one and to see the problem, right? If we open the APIs here, relevant APIs recently called is a get, find, get, check, and then we can see there are a number of the APIs paired with the large latency. This is a 2000 milliseconds, which 2 seconds of the latency of the API. And we take log of the API call, and then it will bring the full stack. The trace stack is similar as the Java stack, but this is much user-friendly manner. And we don't need to read the text and log text and to understand the trace. And then here have the yellow means to have the problem here. We just click the connect, and it will bring us to exactly the place with the problem. In this instance, the problem is the discounted database. And the error message is very clear. Its connection is not available. Request timeout after 2 seconds. Now we get the root cause of the problem. Next step, Instana can integrate with ServiceNow. Maybe it's the time we create a ticket for the change requirement to the database team, so that the database team can look into the problems, maybe allocate more resource or reboot the database to resolve the problem. So this concluded the demo of how Instana resolve an incident with just a few clicks. We go to the slides. This is the last page. In this demo, we visualize the distributed application context on enterprise landscape. Instana helps us do everything. All we need to do is just click. And Instana can help us to visualize the overall enterprise landscape, which is a collection of the applications, the infrastructure, the platforms. And this is very helpful for the IT professionals. It is my dream. When I was the solution architect for many years, work on the different project, I wanted to understand the landscape and the overall big picture of the enterprise. And Instana can bring the real-time, concise information. And then in the demo, we step by step to resolve a problem by the click and click without any in-depth technology skills, and we can resolve the problem. If you are interested in more information about Instana, we can have number of the next steps: 14 days free trial, proof of value, or the MVP setup with your environment and your own use case. And we also can have the number of the deeper dive sessions on Instana to explore the graphic user interface detail functions, to discuss the deployment, and to discuss the end system monitoring setup, and to discuss the Instana in your ITSM ITR ecosystem, how Instana integrated with the ServiceNow and integrated with other AI ops products. So this concludes the Instana demo. Thank you.